Let's talk about everything that has come up this morning with Republican Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. She's also the vice chair of the Trump transition team. Good morning, Congresswoman.
Good morning.
So let's talk about first this vote last night of Republicans behind closed doors to effectively kill the Office of Congressional Ethics. Were you part of that vote?
Allison, it doesn't kill the Office of Congressional Ethics. What it does is to bring it under the jurisdiction or the oversight, if you will, of the Committee on Ethics. And it provides individuals to the opportunity to have some due recourse and to know who is accusing them, which is not something that individuals have known. And members of both conferences have wanted to see this type of transparency brought to the office. And so it was the will of the House conference, that was the vote, and it will go to the floor as a rules change. My hope is what you will see is more transparency. You will see individuals with the opportunity to know who is accusing them, and that we will see matters resolved in a more timely manner.
And Congresswoman, did you vote for it?
I did vote for it, yes.
So basically it is Congress now policing itself.
That is what the Committee on Ethics always has been, Allison.
Well, that was an independent group. That was an
This is an independent group, and that is right. That is right.
And that's gone now.
And anybody, no, not at all. Not at all. It is still there. It will be the Office of Complaint Review. Individuals can file a complaint, but the difference is individuals are going to have, those that are accused will have the opportunity to know who is accusing them. This is a move that is supported by individuals in each conference, Democrat and Republican. If someone is being accused of something, let somebody know who is accusing them, where the complaints are coming from. So it makes sense to do that, and then to have the oversight from the Committee on Ethics. And I'll remind you, the Committee on Ethics is a completely equal bipartisan committee.
So why, I mean, since you say that it is bipartisan and you're making the compelling case that it's all on the up and up, why do it the night before Congress officially, the new Congress is sworn in, and why do it behind closed doors?
This is the time that the conferences meet, and this is the time that the rules package is voted on. So it becomes a matter of scheduling and doing something that is going to be in place for the entire Congress. So it's a matter of timing, and it is the matter that the manner in which the House approaches its business. You put your rules and your process in place, and then you move forward for the organizing and convening of the 115th Congress, which we're going to do at noon today.
Yes, you are. But Congresswoman, we've spoken to some Democrats this morning who felt blindsided by this. They're not happy with the vote that you all took. And basically their argument is, if it's such a great move, why not open it to debate? Why not do it during daylight?
Well, this is something that has been discussed for quite a period of time. And quite frankly, Allison, it doesn't matter what the vote is. You're going to have Democrats who are unhappy with anything that is done by Republicans or in a bipartisan manner, or you're going to have them complain about making changes, whether it's to a rule or to the EPA or to the changing of Obamacare or the changing of the tax code.
You're not all in lockstep.
It's going to be that partisan bickering, so you just kind of expect it and you do the right thing and you move on.
Okay, but what's your response to when they say, how does this drain the swamp?
What it will do is provide more transparency. Anytime you can provide more accountability and more transparency to any process that is in place, then you're going to take another step toward draining the swamp. And I am all for draining the swamp. I think that anyone who knows me knows that. I've spent much of my career working on reducing the size, the scope, and the cost of the federal government, and in its place putting accountability and transparency.
And so you understand, as a champion of transparency, why a vote that happens with only Republicans at night behind closed doors gives the impression of something sneaky happening?
Most people would say 5 o'clock in the afternoon is not at night, but you know, we could discuss that. It does start getting dark outside.
Well, you know,
behind,
you get the point, right? Behind closed doors, not open for debate.
That's right.
It sounds as though maybe something is being hidden.
The Democrats have their meeting behind closed doors also, and on Wednesday, when the president comes to talk to them about how to fight against the repeal of Obamacare, they're going to do that one behind closed doors. And, you know, it is, the conferences meet together in a room, and that is where they have their conference meetings. And each conference does that, and it is bipartisan and it is bicameral.
Okay, let's talk about Obamacare, as you've raised.
Sure.
So I know that one of your first priorities is to repeal and replace Obamacare. What is your plan for what to do with the 20 to 30 million people who would likely lose their insurance if it were repealed?
Well, first of all, we have to realize that 7 million Americans lost their health insurance because of Obamacare. And when you talk about disruption in the healthcare marketplace, Obamacare was the disruption. So to execute a pathway to a repeal so that you are phasing out the current system and phasing in a more patient-centered system is the right thing to do. Now, if you want to know the provisions that we're going to put in place, your viewers can go to my website, blackburn.house.gov. They can look at the bills that we have brought forward that are patient-centered. One of those I will highlight with you is what I covered in February 2010 at the Blair House Healthcare Summit.
Yeah.
And it is a cross-state line purchase of health insurance.
Okay, but are you saying, Congresswoman, that there will be no disruption for the 30 million people who, for some of them, the millions of people, who would lose it if it were repealed? Are you saying that there will be no disruption?
There are a total, I think right now, of 9 million that are in the individual marketplace. I think what you're going to see for those, you're talking about individuals still that are in the uninsured market.
And will they lose their coverage?
They're uninsured. You have many that are still uninsured. Our goal, and this is what we're working toward, is to preserve or to restore access to affordable health care. What has happened through the lead up to the Obamacare process and Obamacare was health care has become unaffordable.
Right,
now,
I remember that was the impetus.
Let's go
for
back.
It.
Yes,
right.
Let's
but
go
now
back
people
and
are
look
covered
at
by Obamacare. I mean, now they are covered. In fact, there's been a run on it.
So not everybody
understood,
is covered.
But for the people who are covered, if you repeal it, what happens?
Well, but here, what you have to do is look at the fact that you had two tracks that you could travel to reforming the nation's health insurance and healthcare access system. One was government control.
Right.
That's what Obamacare was. The other are the provisions that we offered, again, back before Obamacare, that were patient-centered and free market-oriented.
Okay.
The administration chose the government control path.
Right.
What have we learned about that?
Sure.
We have learned that it is too expensive to afford, and from those that are in the Obamacare marketplace, they tell us it's too expensive to use because the insurance costs too much, the deductibles are too high.
Sure, it has its problems. Yes, it certainly has its problems.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So we're out of time. I will look forward to hearing what the plan is to cover the millions of people who are currently covered.
Absolutely.
Congresswoman.
Let's talk again.
Let's
Have a great
do that.
day.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman.
Bye-bye.
Chris.
So